program that is designed to help children of migrant seasonal farm workers find their footing in the workplace. Michigan State University's National Migrant Scholars Internship has also helped students travel the country and gain real-world experience. It has allowed employers to create a talent pipeline. Please help me in welcoming NMSI's programs Samantha and Selena.
Thank you, Marcus. So, hello everyone. My name is Samantha Velez. I am the Associate Director for the National Migrant Scholars Internship Initiative at Michigan State University.
And hola everyone, my name is Selena Wapia Perez. I am currently a senior at Michigan State University, and I am also a student participant of the NMSI program.
So, what is NMSI, right? NMSI for short. We are a support program for undergraduate students coming with an agricultural background and really supporting internship experiences. And I'm going to share a little bit more about how we support the students and what I mean. And a really important thing to know is that the students that are coming with an agricultural background are across the nation and attend one of either 53 universities, and they are all part of, or they have all received a scholarship called the College Assistance Migrant Program. It's a first-year program in support of students with that agricultural background and are now in a higher institution of education. So what is NMSI? We support internships through financial support, through a learning component where we work with corporations and employers to ensure that this is a real world experience and it's legit, like we like to say, right? And a professional component where we work with the students to make sure that they have the soft skills needed. So studies recently have shown that one of the biggest problems that employers are encountering with newly graduate students is that they lack soft skills, right? They are constantly on their phone, typical millennials, right? But we do work with all of our students to make sure that they have those soft skills needed to make sure that they're able to hit the ground running after graduation, and the program's really dedicated to ensuring that they are competitive after graduation. So we work, as I mentioned earlier, with 53 universities and colleges. We are located in Lansing, Michigan, based out of Michigan State University. And one thing to know about our students is that we work with all majors, all classes, so sophomores, juniors, seniors, fifth year students, right, looking to gain an internship experience. So the financial component, probably we are most popular because of this, right? We work with the students to make sure that they have a competitive wage and that they're getting paid. Many times internships are not paid. Sometimes they are, but sometimes they can't get to the state of Michigan if they're coming from Wyoming or if they're coming from a different state in the country. So part of our program, and we're really dedicated to making sure that talent outside of Michigan is coming to Michigan and have the means and the support needed to make sure that they're successful, right? So we're bringing students out from California. We cover relocation costs at many times. We can potentially provide housing, professional apparel if the student needs to dress, accordingly to their office space, or if they're going to be needing boots and a hat, if they're going to be out in a field or in a lab. These are all things that we could potentially cover. And one of the things is that we work with the employers and the corporations to either offset the cost of an internship, and if times at times it has happened where the employers do not have funds to cover internships, and we have taken on the cost. But we'll talk about that. If you want to talk, we can talk, right? But this is a possibility where we support our students and make sure that they're able to take on this internship. So the learning component. Part of our agreement, and once we put up some money, right, we will make sure that the employers and the corporations are providing a learning component to every single student. So we do have an agreement in place where the employer kind of lists down the jobs and the responsibilities, how many times they're going to communicate with the student, because we want to make sure that, again, that our students are going to be competitive post-graduation. We do have some evaluations, and we go over expectations with the students as well. So now the professional component. This all lies on NMSI's end, right? We literally meet the student where they're at in terms of soft skills, their resume, how they present themselves, what their elevator pitch is sounding and looking like, how they look. And we really make it a point to make sure that our students are competitive and will be able to compete with the real world. So our employer agreement, there's 3 main signatories, right? This kind of just lists down everything that we're covering, whether that be any financial support from NMSI and the learning components from the employers. And there's 3 main signatories. The Michigan State University signs off on it, the corporation or employer, along with the NMSI director. So how can a student get paid for an internship, right? There's several possible ways. The corporation either takes on the full costs and can possibly just pay the student. Another way, if based on the agreement and what we agree upon, the employer can pay the student and then later invoice Michigan State University under NMSI, or NMSI takes on the full cost and directly pays the student. However, those are very few cases, and what we do and what we try to do when we do take on the full cost is that we make sure that this is a good and growing opportunity for the students. So some of our partnering employers include the ones listed on the screen, and many times our employers come to us to really diversify their workforce. Majority of our students are coming from an agricultural background, meaning that they have worked in agriculture, picked the fields, right, or their families are the ones that have literally harvested the crops that are sitting at our table. And our students are now in an institution of higher education within the 53 universities across the nation. So when our employers come to us, or our partnering employers, and they're seeking to diversify their workforce, we let them know, like, hey, yes, we have this great pool of students, and it's thousands of students, right? We're talking average around 2,000 incoming freshmen every single year. So when they come to us, they say, I want to diversify my workforce, but they continue coming to us because they have come to learn that our students are hardworking. They bring 2 languages to the table, Spanish and English. They bring new ideas and new approaches to the workforce. They bring more than just their education, right? And they are not your typical millennials. Right, Selena?
Yeah.
They are not. So They are, and part of this is that we are continuing to grow our partners and who we work with, particularly here in the greater Detroit area, because like everyone else, we want to bring new talent to Michigan. We want to make sure that we're being noticed, right, and that we're exposing all the grand and great opportunities that there is here in Michigan. So we are primarily sponsored by CoBank, the National Hep and Camp Association, and Michigan State University. One day, quick story about CoBank. One day, a CoBank representative back in 2015 met with our team, and they loved what we were doing so much that they said, "Here's a check. How can I support you? And how can you continue to support your students?" And from then on, we knew that internships and ensuring that students were competitive post graduation was one of the goals that we needed to hit. So, lo and behold, NMSI was born. And they CoBank particularly understands what our future is looking like, right? What the United States demographics is looking like, and they are looking forward into 20 and 50 years from today. So they are ensuring, and through this initiative, they want to make sure that they are part of that growth. Because I don't know if you know, but Latinos and students that are coming with this particular background are some of America's top consumers. Right, but I'm going to stop talking now. I'm going to hand it over to Selena, and she's going to share a little bit about her story and how NMSI supported her.
Yeah, so hi everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today. My name is Selena Wapia Perez. I am a senior at MSU this year, so I'm graduating in spring. I'm really excited. I am majoring in interdisciplinary humanities with a double minor in Chicano Latino Studies and TESOL, which is teaching English to speakers of other languages. So I am first generation, so I'm the first in my family to come to college and graduate high school. I am also out of state, so I am from Southwest Florida, a small agricultural town called Immokalee. So predominantly of the predominant community there are agricultural workers picking or picking crops within the farms in the nearby areas. A little bit of what I've been able to do throughout Michigan State. I came in through the college assistant migrant program, so I'm a camp scholar. I have been able to do 3 study abroad programs now, so I've been able to visit 10 different countries. I'm also received countless scholarships and awards at my university, and ever since freshman year, I've had an internship or fellowship because of MSU. But my most recent one was with the White House Initiative on Educational Excellence for Hispanics at the U.S. Department of Education in Washington, D.C. So a little bit about what I did, or a little bit about my agricultural background is ever since I was like, I don't even remember the exact age, but I want to say early, like 5, 6 year old. I've been going to the fields with my parents to pick crops. In my time of, I'm 22 now, but in those 22 years, I've lived in 10 states, from Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Delaware, Virginia, mostly here in the East Coast. But I've been able to pick farm work or be a farm worker with my parents. Anytime I have a small break within school, I go and help my parents in that way. So Michigan is actually my 10th state that I've been able to live in, but that's for school. So with my agriculture experience, I've been able to the idea of a college degree and even like being able to intern nationally for the U.S. Department of Education is just, this pride of being able to take my dreams and that of my family's from the fields to the classroom. So, and as a first generation student, all of that, the magnitude that carries for me and for my family is definitely unmatched. So, as I said, I've lived in 10 states. We pick tomatoes, jalapenos, corns, bell peppers. So anyone here who likes salads, I've done that before. I know the little cherry tomatoes. I'm not personally a big fan, but maybe that's because I've worked with them for so long. But with the initiative, I was the first ever student from my university to be selected and to intern for the White House Initiative on Educational Excellence for Hispanics. So I applied to this program, and two of the colleges from Michigan State decided to sponsor me, as well as NMSI, so the College of Education, which is the #1 college of education in the nation. And because I was the first ever from MSU to get this internship, they were like, yes, we're willing to support and sponsor you so that we can make this dream come true. Because the White House Initiative is a federal internship, it's unpaid. So with that, I'm out of state. I was already paying a lot of money for tuition. I was like, I can't do this internship. Yes, I got it. It's an honor, but I don't have the financial means to pay for it. So I'm thankful that there are programs and that there was colleges at my university who wanted to sponsor me and help me get there. So once I actually got to DC, I was doing a lot of the work that I did with my internship was doing a lot of research within Hispanic serving institutions, historically black colleges and universities, and predominantly white institutions. But my focus was especially within the trajectory of Hispanics in the U.S., how we're changing the demographics, how those demographics are looking like. So by 2050, 1 in 4 students will be of Hispanic descent. So we are changing our classrooms. I like to because I'm going within education, our classrooms are changing. And how are we changing this country to fit that? And how are we accommodating those students? So I was looking at the ways that we're changing education, the conversations that we're having, the tangible work that's being done for students who are coming into our classrooms, and just representation. It matters, and I think that with this initiative, I was able to network with a lot of national Latino leaders across the country from every state. I was at the White House STEM Summit, so I was able to meet with a lot of people who are going within science, technology, education, math, those kinds of careers into education, and they want to diversify their workforce. They want Latinos to be at the table. So it was an honor to be at the White House STEM Summit, to be able to even network within those leaders across the country. And even with that, I was able to attend a lot of conferences, summits. I was nominated to attend the Latina Leaders Summit at the Hill in Washington, D.C. And a cool thing about my internship was I got to sit down with the Secretary of Education, Betsy DeVos. So we had a conversation on what's being done, what's going on right now, how can we move forward. And because she was a Michigan native, or she is a Michigan native, we had a really close conversation about what's going on within Michigan schools in general. So that was an honor for me to be able to have that seat at the table. And then even after that, what happens after your internship? So now that I'm in my senior year, coming forward, I was able to apply to 3 different national positions over the summer, and I now I went from having 1 national internship opportunity to holding 3 national positions. So right now, I'm currently on the Youth Advisory Board for the STEVE Fund. So they are a national organization aimed at helping students of color within mental health and emotional well-being across colleges and universities. I also serve on the American Association of University Women, and I'm actually Michigan State's the representative for the entire state. So in a table where all 50 states are seated, I get to sit in the chair for Michigan. And my third position is the Hispanic Latinas on Fast Track program with the Hispanic Heritage Foundation that is centered in Washington, D.C. So I went from not just serving, like local and state positions, but I went to a national position that locates me as a national Latina leader. So I get to share my collegiate perspective from success to failures with other Latinas across the country. So this experience didn't just stay in the summer. It didn't just stay in Washington, D.C. It followed me, and now my resume looks pretty good, I like to say. But a lot of employers were able to see this and get confidence in me that I was able to land this internship and expand that into other work that they're doing. So had it not been for NMSI, I would have not participated in this program, because I like to think that unpaid internships are designated and privileged those who have the financial means of taking those kinds of things on, for students who have that financial privilege of moving forward. And I wasn't one of those students because of my agricultural background. But because of my agricultural background, I had the tools and skills necessary to bring something new to the table at the White House Initiative. So catch me one day probably being the first Latina Secretary of Education in the nation.
Thank you, Selena. We're going to hold you accountable.
Yes, please, and vote for me.
But yes, like Selena mentioned, many times our students go on and they're not able to take on these opportunities. But through this initiative, we are certain and we are dedicated to ensuring that our students have the financial means, that they have the support needed, whether that be in professional development, and that when we're working with corporations and with employers, we are able to set a standard, right? And making sure that the students are gaining a real world experience and a learning opportunity to make them competitive post graduation. But here's our contact information. I know we're running out of time. If you want to a little bit more information, I'm going to go ahead and stand on the sidelines. Please come talk to us. I know Selena can share her story, and we can continue talking. But we do seek to partner with employers and corporations that are looking to one, really diversify their workforce, right? But that are seeking new talent as well. Because, like I said, our students are coming from all over the nation, have a great work ethic. We work with all majors, and we are really ensuring that we bring talent to Michigan and all across the United States. Okay, find us on social media as well. But thank you all.